It's just before 7 in the morning in a quiet Texas neighborhood. A young woman is in her driveway, setting up tables and folding clothes for a garage sale. She's doing it for something simple and happy, a 5th wedding anniversary trip with her husband.
A dark pickup truck turns onto the street. It creeps past her house, disappears for a moment, and then comes back. The truck parks. A figure gets out, bundled up in strange, bulky clothing, long hair that may be a wig, moving with purpose. They walk straight up the driveway toward her.
There's a short exchange, just a few words, and then 4 shots. Elizabeth collapses on the concrete. The shooter calmly walks away, gets back into the truck, and drives off. Nothing is stolen. No one is arrested. And even though the whole thing is captured on video, to this day, the killer has never been identified.
Was there just the emergency?
No problem. All units are by 34 with the 149 Hill and John Young Freeway. 19519 East 18.
Before we dive into the crime itself, we really want to spend time on who Liz was. Because she is so much more than that blurry figure we see on that driveway video. Liz lived in the Tomball area, just northwest of Houston, Texas. She was 29 years old, married to her husband, Sergio, and worked in sales for a pipeline inspection company. Very normal, everyday life stuff.
What stands out most about Liz is how people talk about her. Friends and family describe her as kind, goofy in the best way, and deeply into geek culture. She loved things like Star Wars, Harry Potter, sci-fi, conventions, and cosplay. She and her husband Sergio shared that fandom together. They went to cons, wore costumes, and really embraced that community.
And it wasn't just for fun. Liz was involved in the 501st Legion, which is a Star Wars costuming group that does a ton of charity work. They show up at children's hospitals, charity events, fundraisers, bringing characters to life for kids and families who really need a reason to smile. Liz would suit up in armor or a costume and spend her time doing that, on top of her regular job and life.
Her parents, Bob and Rosemary, talk about how proud they are of the person she became. This wasn't someone living a risky lifestyle or constantly in drama. By all accounts, she had no known enemies, no major feuds. She was just this kind, creative person who loved her husband, her dog, and her community.
And that's what makes the murder feel so targeted and so chilling. When you look at the footage, it doesn't look like a random robbery gone wrong. It doesn't feel like a spur-of-the-moment decision. It seems like someone got up that morning with a specific plan. Wait for Sergio to leave, approach Liz in her driveway, and kill her.
It also matters what was happening around that time. Liz and Sergio were planning a trip to Universal Studios in Florida to celebrate their 5th wedding anniversary. That's why they were having the garage sale, to get a little extra spending money. The signs for the sale weren't blasted all over social media. They were mostly just local signs in the neighborhood, and only a limited circle of people knew about it in advance.
So, when you add that up, someone with no obvious enemies, a garage sale that wasn't widely publicized, and a killer who seems to know exactly when she'd be alone, it already starts to raise questions about how specific this attack was.
Elizabeth Barraza was shot to death on January 25th, 2019. She was setting up for a garage sale in the driveway of her Tomball home. The killer was caught on surveillance video walking up the driveway in what appears to be a disguise. This all happened minutes after her husband, Sergio Barraza, left for work.
Let's move into the days and hours leading up to January 25th, 2019. Liz and Sergio had been preparing for this garage sale. They sorted items, put up a few signs, and planned to be up early that Friday morning to set up in the driveway.
According to reports, they started getting everything ready sometime after 6:15 a.m. Liz lays out clothes, small items, typical garage sale stuff. Sergio helps, then leaves for work around 6:48 a.m. Their neighborhood is a quiet residential area. It looks like any other early morning in suburbia.
What they don't realize is that nearby, a dark-colored Nissan Frontier Pro 4X crew cab is already in the area. Surveillance footage later shows that truck moving around neighborhood streets, even being spotted at a local Goddard school parking lot before it eventually comes down Liz and Sergio's street.
There are reports that neighbors may have seen or heard that truck even earlier, like at around 2 in the morning, circling the area. If that's accurate, it suggests someone was scouting the neighborhood, maybe checking sightlines, cameras, or just getting familiar with where they needed to be.
So by the time Sergio leaves, someone in that truck appears to be waiting. That's a big detail. It looks like the killer wanted Sergio gone. They didn't want to deal with a second adult at the scene. That timing feels deliberate.
It's also worth noting that Liz normally would have been at work. This wasn't just any random morning. She had specifically taken time off so she could run the sale. Whoever planned this had to know that she'd be there at that hour alone. According to some coverage, investigators have said that knowledge likely came from a relatively small circle of people who knew about the sale and her schedule.
Now we get to the part that's both crucial for the case and incredibly difficult to watch: the murder itself. This whole incident is captured on a neighbor's Ring doorbell camera. One of the reasons this case has gotten so much attention is because we can actually see the killer, even if we can't identify them.
At around 6:52 a.m., the dark Nissan Frontier enters the camera's view. It passes Liz's house, goes down the street, and then returns. The driver parks near the house. The video shows a figure getting out, wearing a long coat or bathrobe-style garment, boots, and what looks like long hair that many believe is a wig. The outfit almost feels theatrical, like a deliberate attempt to obscure identity, and maybe even throw off witnesses about the shooter's gender.
The suspect walks quickly but not frantically up the driveway toward Liz. On the audio, investigators have said you can hear a simple greeting. Something like, "Good morning." Liz appears to respond casually, like she's talking to a normal person who might be there for the sale. There's no visible sign she's alarmed.
Within seconds, the suspect raises a gun and fires 4 shots. Liz is hit 3 times in the chest and once in the head. She falls to the ground. The shooter turns, runs back toward the truck, and drives off. But then, and this is one of the creepiest parts of the footage, the truck returns to the scene moments later, as if the killer is circling back to confirm that Liz is dead, or that no one is chasing them.
The weapon is believed to be a revolver. This is an important detail. Revolvers don't eject shell casings, so you're not leaving brass scattered at the crime scene. That kind of choice suggests planning and at least a basic understanding of how to minimize forensic evidence.
Neighbors hear the shots and call 911. First responders get there quickly, and Liz is transported to the hospital. Despite everything they do, she doesn't survive. She's pronounced dead not long after. Her parents and her husband are pulled into the worst nightmare imaginable.
Later, another video, this time from a law enforcement dash cam, would surface, showing Sergio arriving on scene, seeing the situation, and reacting in real time. It's raw and extremely emotional. He's asking what happened, trying to make sense of it as officers explain that his wife has been shot. Watching this is a reminder that this isn't just a mystery. It's the shattering of multiple lives.
One thing that stands out is what doesn't happen that morning. The suspect doesn't walk into the house. They don't take Liz's car. They don't grab her purse or any garage sale money. There's no apparent robbery motive at all. It looks like a pure, focused mission. Find Liz, kill Liz, and leave.
And that's exactly how investigators treated it. From early on, law enforcement made it clear that they believed this was a targeted act, whether it be professional or personal. The precision of timing, the clothing, the choice of weapon, the lack of theft. It just doesn't line up with a random burglary or a drive-by.
4 years later, how are you doing?
As good as I can, you know. It's a process to get through all this, to remember all this, to live through all this, you know. That I never imagined going through something like this, so I take every day a step at a time.
Let's talk about some of the theories that get discussed in this case. We want to stress these are possibilities that have been talked about in media and online communities. We're not accusing anyone. We're looking at the behavior, the evidence, and the context.
The first theory is that this was some kind of personal grudge, someone with a deep, private anger toward Liz. The logic here is straightforward. The killer clearly knew her schedule that morning. They came when she was alone. They walked right up to her and spoke before shooting. Nothing was stolen. All that can point toward a personal motive, jealousy, resentment, betrayal, or something we don't know about.
That leads right into the second major theory: murder for hire, a contract killing. Some investigators, and even Liz's own father, have publicly said it feels like a hit. The timing, the revolver, the disguise, the lack of theft, the way the truck circled, it checks a lot of the boxes.
In a murder for hire scenario, you have two layers. The person who pulled the trigger, who might not have known Liz at all. The person who ordered the hit, who would have had the motive, money, resentment, or wanting her out of the way. We know there were financial angles explored, like insurance. But again, nothing concrete has been publicly tied to a suspect. Still, the professional feel of the attack keeps this theory very much alive.
The third theory overlaps with the first two. Someone in Liz and Sergio's orbit. Friends, coworkers, acquaintances, or extended family. This is based on the idea that the garage sale wasn't widely known. You'd need inside information to know she'd be out there that early and alone.
Another theory that occasionally comes up is mistaken identity. That maybe someone else was the intended target, and Liz was tragically in the wrong place at the wrong time. Personally, I struggle with this one because of how specific the timing and location are. The truck appears to have been stalking the area, and the killer walks up clearly expecting to see her in that driveway. That seems like a very narrow scenario for a mistake.
Yeah, the precision here makes mistaken identity feel less likely. If you're hired to kill someone, or you have a personal vendetta, you usually confirm you have the right person. The killer walks up, speaks to her, and then shoots. Unless someone else looked almost exactly like Liz and had the same schedule, this theory doesn't explain the planning we see. So while we can't totally rule it out, it's not at the top of my list.
When I look at all of this, I see a crime that is extremely targeted and carefully executed. Whoever did this had insider-level knowledge of Liz's schedule that morning, was comfortable enough to walk up and talk to her, chose clothing and a vehicle that obscure their identity, used a weapon that minimizes physical evidence, and left without taking anything. That combination just screams that this was not random.
We'd love to hear what theory most resonates with you. Leave us a comment letting us know. Or maybe you have a theory of your own that we didn't discuss.
Since January 25th, 2019, Liz's family has been living in a kind of emotional limbo, grieving, but never getting the closure that comes from knowing who did this and why. Her parents have talked about how grief comes in waves. Sometimes it's manageable, and sometimes it's a tsunami that just hits out of nowhere.
They've also made it very clear they're not going to stop. They'll keep doing interviews, holding events, and pushing Liz's case into the spotlight until there's an arrest. And law enforcement has said this is not a cold case. It's active. Leads are still being checked. Files are still being reviewed.
If you're watching this and you live in Texas, especially near Tomball or the greater Houston area, think about that Nissan Frontier Pro 4X crew cab, dark colored, 2013 or newer. Think about anyone you knew back then who had a truck like that and maybe suddenly got rid of it. Think about anyone who seemed obsessed with Liz or bitter about something in her life.
Sometimes people dismiss what they know because they think, if it were important, police would have already figured it out. But cases like this often break on a small detail. A weird comment someone made after the murder. A late-night confession to a friend. An alibi that doesn't quite line up with what you remember. Or that one time someone came home early on January 25th, 2019, acting strange.
If you have any information, no matter how small you think it is, here's what you can do right now. Contact Crime Stoppers of Houston. Call 713-222-TIPS 8477. Or submit a tip online at the Crime Stoppers website. Tips to Crime Stoppers can be anonymous, and in this case, they may pay up to $50,000 for information leading to an arrest and charges. Contact the Harris County Sheriff's Office. You can reach them at 713-221-6000 with information about the murder of Elizabeth Barraza.
And if you're not sure how to take that first step, or if you feel safer reaching out to us first, you can also contact Crime Solvers Central. Leave a detailed comment under this video, or send us a private message or tip through our Crime Solvers Central website. We're not law enforcement, but we can help point you in the right direction and encourage you to get what you know into the hands of investigators.
Sharing this video also helps. The more eyes on that footage, the more ears hearing Liz's story, the better the chances that the right person sees it at the right time. We'll have links to resources, including Liz's case page and tip lines in the description.
Liz Barraza should be remembered for the way she lived, dressing up in armor to make kids smile, planning trips with her husband, loving her family and her fandoms. But we also have to hold space for the way her life ended, and the fact that the person who did this hasn't been held accountable yet.
If you know something, say something. Don't assume someone else already has. Liz's family deserves answers. Her community deserves answers. And somewhere out there, the killer is counting on everyone staying quiet.
If you found this episode helpful or informative, please like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you don't miss our future deep dives into unsolved cases like this one. And again, if you have any information, reach out to Crime Stoppers, the Harris County Sheriff's Office, or to us at Crime Solvers Central.
For Liz and for everyone who loved her, we are not giving up. Thanks for watching. Stay safe, stay curious, and stay loud.